Hello, YouTubers, friends, compatriots, bootlickers, shills, death slaves, earth peasants, vassals, minions, meat sacks. I'm Useful Idiot. Welcome, and let's go to the good old USA and talk about Donald Trump putting together more of his cabinet and more of his advisors and making more appointments. And it's not getting any clearer exactly where it's all going to go. A lot of these appointments have a certain amount of controversy associated, like a lot of things about Steve Bannon, ex-Breitbart News editor, being posted as one of Trump's advisors. On the one hand, there's a lot of things about him that are smear campaigns, and labeling him an anti-Semitic and the like is all very distorted. But on the other hand, Steve Bannon was also a big supporter of Citizens United, giving corporates personhood so they could contribute to these political campaigns. So a mixed bag there, and all the appointments so far, just looking at their backgrounds, are a mixed bag. Mike Flynn is a national security advisor, Senator Jeff Sessions is Attorney General, Mike Pompeo is CIA Director, Steve Bannon is an advisor, and now Wilbur Ross, the billionaire investor, as the Commerce Secretary. Supposedly Mike Huckabee is Ambassador to Israel, and Betsy DeVos as Secretary of Education, another billionaire. And then Nikki Haley is U.S. Ambassador to the UN. So, just a broad spectrum of issues that we have as Nikki Haley being U.S. Ambassador to the UN and really having no government or having no foreign policy service experience, being South Carolina governor. And then Betsy DeVos being appointed Secretary of Education when Trump has already talked about the idea of actually eliminating the Department of Education. But she has some interesting experience. She's, like I say, a billionaire, but has run the American Federation for Children. But she's for charter schools and vouchers and supports Common Core. So she's at odds a little bit with Trump's promise to get rid of Common Core. And then there's a lot of people on either side of the fence regarding charter schools and vouchers. So interesting choices. And Mike Pompeo, CIA Director, we could see more kinds of policies the United States return, including torture and detainment. And then overall, looking at these picks, we see the possibility that surveillance could be widened and strengthened, and Middle East policy could be actually the opposite of what we've heard. I was getting the impression that Trump was going to be a non-interventionist, but some of these people he's putting together obviously have a lot more in relation with the Project for a New American Century and the whole neocon policy and interventionism and nation building across the world. And then Jeff Sessions, as Attorney General, may or may not affect the marijuana legalization movement that's going on across the United States. So it'd be interesting to see what happens with that. One can only speculate because I have to keep in mind something that I think I heard or read somewhere else, and that's the idea that as long as Trump is in control, maybe these picks are not as menacing or as controversial, as insidious they might seem, because if he can get them to just carry out a job, maybe not necessarily their policies will emerge. They will serve a Trump policy, so that's yet to be seen. But where it gets funny, of course, is when he starts talking about some of these other potential picks that make everyone really nervous. Steve Munchkin, the ex-Goldman Sachs banker, and then, of course, talking about Jamie Dimon, CEO of J.P. Morgan Bank, as potential Treasury Secretary is just too surreal to even imagine. And then bringing Mitt Romney back is really a strange idea. And then John Bolton, of course, scares the hell out of me. He's a warmonger's warmonger. So the idea of bringing him back makes me nervous. Bob Corker, David Petraeus, Tom Cotton, Tom Price, a lot of those people make me nervous from some of their past endeavors. Once again, some potential warmongers. Duncan Hunter, Jim Talent, John Keel, Kelly Iotte, Rick Scott, Bobby Jindal. That's another thing that surprises me. A lot of these old, what used to be considered the new young wave of Republicans, it looks to me like the tired old wave of Republicans now. People like Rick Scott and Bobby Jindal, don't like seeing them come back, and then Jan Brewer, and then hilariously Sarah Palin. And Sarah Palin ends up with position, then I just have to laugh. And it'll make a great video, though. I'll have fun picking at her again if she gets into public office. And then we have talk about Trump being interested in maybe revoking net neutrality. The people he's interested in posting in the FCC are people who have some issues with net neutrality, so that's been controversial. And then his talk of a student loan plan, which seems to address the symptoms more than the core issues, but to get out of have the government get out of the student loan business. And he's also talking about potentially maybe an IPO for Fannie and Freddie, which would also be pretty controversial. So anyway, more of these appointments. I get a bad feeling about a lot of them, but once again, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt until I see otherwise, or see some more crazy, insane appointments that just really leave me scratching my head. But other than that, one of the things I wanted to bring up too is Trump's past, his political affiliations, and one of the reasons why we can expect a lot of interesting policies and ideas coming from all over the map, because Trump's political affiliation has been all over the map. Between 1967 and 1987, he was a Democrat, although he did support Ronald Reagan. Then between 1987 and 1999, he was a Republican. Then between 1999 and 2001, he was a supported reform and supported Ross Perot. No surprise there. 2001, 2009, he was a Democrat. And then 2009 to 2011, he was a Republican. 2011, 2012, he was an independent. And now since 2012, he's been a Republican. So one of the reasons why we can expect Trump to choose candidates from all over the map. But, you know, sometimes I look and I wonder if Trump's trying to put together a cabinet. Right now I get the willies, because right now it looks like a tool shed. I'm a useful idiot. Don't you be one too?